What is up, guys? Welcome back to YouTube Relic, and today we're doing a ranking, and for ranking month, today we're doing Pearl Jam, and after this we only have 3 rankings left, and those are 21 Pilots, Beatles, and Foo Fighters. That's not the order I'm going to be doing them, I'm not sure about that yet. Guess we'll find out, but yeah, so Pearl Jam, out of the big 4 of grunge, they're probably my favorite band. They have the most variety, they have the most stuff, and as we'll get to it, one of their albums is just missed my top 10 favorite albums of all time. But yeah, I love Pearl Jam. They have 11 albums that I'm going to be covering today. I'm ranking them worst to best. Let's get into this video after the intro.
Here you go.
Alright guys, so that was the intro, and thank you for all the subscribers and views that I've been getting. I'm very thankful for it. And also, please consider subscribing. My videos, if you like this one, you're probably going to like some of the other ones. But anyways, let's get into number 11. By far their worst album. We have Gigaton. Gigaton is the most recent album released in 2020, and I know I could wait like a month and a half for their next album that dropped. A few singles coming out, Dark Matter, and I forget what the other one's called. They're decent, but yeah, so Gigaton, like they're decent, but I already had them on my list before the first single came out of my ranking month list, so whatever. But yeah, so Gigaton, honestly, very uninteresting. The only song I actually like is Super Blood Wolf Moon. It's a very interesting song, but my main problem with it is Eddie Vedder. Everyone makes fun of him going for like, roar, which is true, but really the only album when he really sounds like that is 10, the debut. But nowadays, ever since like 2015, he's kind of sounded like this, and I don't like how he sounds anymore. I didn't never mind the roar, and he sounds really good in like the mid-90s to late 2000s, but I don't like how he sounds anymore, and there's only like one highlight on here. So for me, Gigaton is by far the worst. But coming in at my number 10, this is a very surprising pick. I have No Code, released in 1996, coming right after, of course, the fearsome threesome. I don't know if that's a saying, it's usually foursome, but whatever, of 10 Verses and Vitology, got No Code on here, which is a very interesting album. They were always against being like business related and just kind of wanted to make some music, which is why they never released, music videos, sorry, like in this era. And honestly, No Code, very interesting album, I'll say that as well in terms of what they do with it, but the songs are very boring on here. And really, honestly, the only thing holding this back from last place is the last 4 tracks, which are like the only enjoyable ones for me, other than Hail Hail. Hail Hail is okay, but the last 4 tracks, especially Present Tense and I'm Open, are really the only thing holding this thing back from last place. And I guess that's okay, you know, like, yeah, No Code, disappointing record, especially compared to the first 3, but I guess you always have to have a lesser album, right? So coming in at number 9, I have Riot Act, released in 2002. So this was a time when there were lots of turmoil in the band. They were just coming off of like lots of popularity, especially with Yield, of course. And honestly, it's a decent album. Albums here 9 and up are very decent. The song Save Me, so I'm looking down at my thing. Love Boat Captain, I Am Mine, which is actually a very good song. And All or None. Those last 2 that I mentioned are all both very good popular songs. The other 2 are good as well. Yeah, I do like Riot Act, but it's just not like an album that you really will ever go back to. And lots of the like deeper cuts, other than the songs I mentioned, to get very uninteresting. But coming into my number 8 spot, I have Lightning Bolt, released in 2013. Again, there's lots of good songs, or the songs that I'm going to mention are very, very good on this one. My Father's Son, really heavy song with great riffs. Sirens, catchy song, and I really like Yellow Moon as well. But again, the deep cuts on this album just don't do it for me at all. But I mean, it was a decent listen. It's a 6.5 out of 10 for me. But it's just like, you know, you have all these great singles, and pretty much every single Pearl Jam album has, other than maybe the bottom 2. But then the deep cuts is where like it was real down for me. But that being said, my number 7 spot. Coming in here, this might be a bit of a surprise, but my number 7, I have the self-titled Avocado, coming in at number 7. Good album, definitely. Songs that I like are Life Wasted, Unemployable, Comeback, and Inside Job. Lots of good songs towards the back half of this thing, but like this is when they go from, of course, they were always grunge. After 10, it's not completely grunge, but then this is just kind of when they just go to like kind of like rock more than just grunge in a whole. And I do like those tracks. The deep cuts here are better. Like 7 Up here is where the deep cuts are actually good, along with the songs that I'm mentioning that are good. And I love the album cover. And yeah, honestly, those songs are good. And I kind of like the rock-oriented stuff that they did in the 2000s. Actually, honestly, surprisingly really good period for Pearl Jam and bands in general. And that being said, great album. But at number 6, I have Binaural, I believe that's how you pronounce it, coming from 2000. Great album cover, like they mostly have. Lots of great songs on here. Like, this is my number 6, but these 6 and up, man, they're all 8s out of 10s and above. Jeez, though. I mean, God's Dice, Evacuation. There's lots of short, grindy songs to begin this thing, but then you got Love Boat Captain. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm reading the wrong thing. You got Light Years, Nothing As It Seems, Insignificance. Very cool songs, especially Light Years and Evacuation. I really like those tracks. Those songs are very good, and again, the deep cuts on here are great too, and this is kind of where we get really, really good, and the reason why Pearl Jam is my favorite grunge band, at least out of the big 4 of grunge, and maybe in my top 10 favorite bands of all time. So yeah, that is really cool. And now we enter the top 5, which is where we got some iconic albums here, and at number 5, I have Yield from 1998. Of course, you have Do the Evolution on here. Very popular song from them. Probably Do the Evolution and Just Breathe are their only really popular songs since like the first 3 main albums. And yeah, Yield has some great songs, especially towards the middle of it. Like the beginning is good, the end is good as well, but the middle is elite. Given to Fly, Wishlist are great songs. Pilot gets really catchy and fun. As I said, Do the Evolution's great, but Low Light is one of my top 10 favorite Pearl Jam songs. So that whole middle of the album, Low Light, is just already so good that it's able to bring this thing up. And my number 4 might strike as a surprise to some casuals, but we got 10. Pearl Jam's 10 coming in here at number 4. So yeah, this is their debut. This is one of the best-selling albums of the 90s. It's a classic. The songs on here are Once, Even Flow, Alive, Wago, Black, Jeremy, Oceans, Porch, Garden, Deep, and Release. Yeah. So, this album, singles are probably all some of their most popular songs. Like, Once, Even Flow, Alive, Black, Jeremy, Oceans. Most people know all those songs. And let me just tell you right now, this is my number 4, but most people have this higher. Obviously, casual fans will put this at number 1. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the first 9 tracks are all perfection. The first 9 songs are all amazing. Sure, Once isn't my absolute favorite, but the other 8 are all perfection. Especially Even Flow. Why Go is a really great song. Black is maybe their best song. It's in their holy trinity of amazing songs. And, of course, Jeremy Spoken. Love that. Porch and Garden, really underrated tracks, but they're still pretty popular. Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now, these first 9 songs are perfection. And then the album goes really downhill for me, which is why this isn't number 1. Along with the production, which Pearl Jam has always had interesting production, but I've always loved their production. My problems with this is the production on here, and other than the first 9 songs. Like, the first 9 songs are all elite, but then it gets, like, Deep. Honestly, I just don't like that song. I don't like Deep. Release is a very nice song. I like it, but compared to the first 9 songs, the only song I think Release is better than in the first 9 elite tracks is probably Once. And then Master Slave, the hidden track, is cool, and I like how it fades out and fades back in to go back into Once on the album, but it's way too long. It's like 9 minutes. So yeah, 2 of the last 3 songs are just not, I honestly kind of despise Master Slave and Deep. I don't know why I couldn't stop talking. Sorry for that beeping in the background. I have a stupid air fryer going. But yeah, 10, great album, but very front-loaded, and the production isn't my favorite, which is why this isn't higher. But my number 3 spot, very recent album, but we got Backspacer coming in at, my number 3, released in 2009. Lots of great songs in here. Gonna See My Friend, Got Some, The Fixer, and Speed of Sound. All very great rocking songs. This is a fairly short album. For a band that I think their shortest album ever was like 48 minutes. This album like barely surpasses 40 minutes. And honestly, again, this isn't grunge, this album. This is just kind of like rocking music. And I actually love the simplicity of it. Because Pearl Jam always has maybe had a filler or two on their albums. Looking at You 10, end of this album, kind of sucks. But there's no filler on this album, which I absolutely love, and those songs I mentioned are great. But Just Breathe is my third favorite Pearl Jam song, just behind Go and Better Man. Kind of a spoiler. But yeah, Just Breathe, along with the consistency of this and those songs I mentioned, able to bring this one up for me. And Backspace, a really underrated album. I really actually love this album. I gotta buy the CD at some point. I gotta get it. And for Easter, by the way, guys, I'm allowed to get some small gifts, so I might get like 2 to 3 CDs for Easter. So I'll tune you guys in that when that happens, okay? Yeah, nice. I'm allowed to get small gifts for Easter. I'm spoiled. Coming in at number 2, we got amazing albums, obviously. This might actually be in my top 20 favorite albums of all time as well, just like my number 1. We got Versus. Yeah. Versus, I believe, from 1993. Yeah, this is amazing. And by the way, again, my new music is out. I promoted the last one. My new music is coming out on April 1st for my band Bols Cream of Wheat. Our debut album, I didn't realize, is very similar looking to Versus. Yeah, it is. And my band is called Bols Cream of Wheat. That's BOLLES Cream of Wheat. And you can check it on YouTube. We're on all streaming services. And yeah, our new singles for our next album coming up soon, coming out on April 1st. Check it out if you want. I'm not going to link it in the description this time around, but my last video I did talk about it more. Anyways, though, sorry for the little plug. Let's actually talk about Versus. The songs on this are Go, Animal, Daughter, Glorified G, Dissident, WMA, Blood Reaver Mirror, Rats, Elderly Woman Behind the Counter in a Small Town as she slowly dies after she got shot by her ex, Leash, and Indifference. So, yeah. Yep. Pearl Jam has always been a band to have, like, monosymbolic and very short titled songs. Like, all the songs on here are like one word. Same with this, except for that one that I mentioned, Elderly Woman, as we're going to call it. But this album is very, like, different compared to 10. 10 is grunge, but it's also just kind of like classic rock and lots of, like, single-esque. Though the songs in Your Daughter and Elderly Woman are very singly, this album is rawer, it's more unstructured, and it's way better. It's way better. This album is a 10. The only song I'm not the biggest fan of is Blood, but even then that song is a jam at the same time. Rats, the other song people don't like, I actually love that song too. Yeah, so Go, my second favorite Pearl Jam song. Man, it goes so hard. Animal, it's like a very raw song, but then the chorus comes in, it's kind of funky, and it gets a lot like louder and more compressed. I really like that. Daughter, beautiful song, I love it. Glorified G, Dissident, WMA, great songs as well. Again, Blood's not my favorite, but it still is very fun. Reaver Mirror, one of the band's best songs. Rats, great song. I actually really like the lyrics in that. Elderly Woman, one of my favorite Pearl Jam songs as well. Very catchy. Hearts and thoughts, they fade. Amazing. Leash, great song. And Indifference gives me chills. Indifference is maybe their best closer, and I'd say Go is also their best opener. Versus, it is an amazing album, and I definitely recommend you give it a listen. You're probably going to like it more than 10. You're probably going to like it more than 10. But my number 1, you might not like more than 10 or Versus if you like Versus more, because it's a bit more of an acquired taste. But coming my number 1, it's my 11th favorite album of all time, and I felt bad when it was missing out, when it just missed out on my top 10 favorite albums of all time. We got Vitology. Oh my gosh, Vitology. This album's amazing, and it's not for you. This is not for you! Okay, anyways. Vitology is my favorite Pearl Jam album, and it's not even by far. The only thing that edged this out, because more than Versus, is the fact that it has my favorite Pearl Jam song, Better Man, on it, because it's just so tight, and I'd say it has a bit more variety than Versus. But yeah, the songs on this one are Last Exit, Split in the Black Circle, Not For You, Tremor Christ, Nothing Man, Whipping, Pride 2, Corduroy, Bugs, Satan's Bed, Better Man, A to Vintia, Immortality, and Stupid Mop. There's lots of songs on here. And as I said, I felt so bad having this missed out because I made it strict, no honorable mentions, just straight up my top 10 favorite Pearl Jam, top 10 favorite albums of all time, and this one just missed it, but it still made it into the thumbnail. It's a great album. The first 3 songs in here are very heavy and punk rocky, and I especially love Not For You out of the first 3 songs. And they're literally telling you to, like, beep off. Like, especially for the casuals that really liked 10 and the hits off of Versus. They're telling you, this is not for you. Get out of here. Tremor Christ. Awesome. Rocking song. Nothing Man. Beautiful. Whipping. Corduroy. Really fun songs. Bugs. I understand everybody hates it. I actually find it's really funny and catchy, and I love it. And yeah, Better Man's my favorite song by the band. Immortality is great too. Stupid Mop is a nothing track, which does make this go a bit down and make it a bit closer to Versus, but still. Vitality is my favorite Pearl Jam album. Yeah, it's basically perfection.
Thanks for watching this video. Now look at this person. And again, thank you for watching today's video. Please like and subscribe, even though Burlick is bad. Anyways, bye.